All right, first cold call. Here we go. All right, it's Monday morning here. Hope you guys had a good weekend. And now it's time to get back at it. Hope you guys didn't have any of the Sunday scaries. Ooh, work on that image so you can actually see what's going on. We had some friends over yesterday afternoon, and they were talking Sunday scaries. And the thing about Sunday scaries is that only happens when you hate what you're doing, when you are excited about what you do, when you have good stuff going on, when you're motivated, when you've got a challenge ahead of you. You don't get the Sunday scaries, at least I don't. And I think that's what you're looking for to avoid those. Anyway, up and at it this morning. I've got a bunch of places I need to hit on my schedule today. I don't have any surgeries today, so the day is going to be full of prepping for the rest of the week. Anything that I have going on the rest of the week that I got to get together, and then going to have to pit stop into a FedEx office, get some things printed out, get teed up. Then it's a bunch of calls, cold calling, follow-up calls, emails, phone calls, anything that I can do to get in front of a customer. So, today is a perfect example of when you don't have things scheduled, when you don't have surgeries on the books, how are you going to spend your time? Well, what you do is, how do you grow the business, period? And you grow the business by getting customers to say yes to you. How do you get customers to say yes to you? You got to put it in their hands. You got to get a demo. So it's all about getting to the demo. It's all about getting your product in the hands of the customer as quickly and as often as you can. So, I'm in Chicago, and there are surgeons and physicians all over the place. So there's no shortage of doctors that I can call on, which is great. Sometimes that's difficult, though. A lot of guys are difficult to get in front of, but the objective then is get my product in their hands as often as I can and as quickly as I can. So going to be a lot of calls, a lot of follow-up calls, working on my CRM and try to move all the doctors in there that I've got or that I can get to today, move them forward one step in the sales process. So if I'm at a cold call with them, I got to get them to a discovery meeting, or if I'm at a discovery meeting with them, I've got to make sure that I've got that scheduled and ready to go for that meeting so I can move them forward to a presentation or proposal. And so that's on the agenda today. We'll see. Friday didn't turn out the same way. When I was talking to you in the morning on Friday, the day quickly changed to something completely different than what I was expecting. So who knows what can happen. There's always a chance that something pops up, that things change. Who knows? I could get a call in 5 minutes saying I've got a surgery on the books at noon. It's just the way it goes. So anyway, that is the tentative agenda that we're going to be hitting, and trying to make shit happen. All right, let's rock and roll. At FedEx office. Dropping my phone. Sorry. Production quality on this MedSales daily vlog is low to quite low. But you get what you pay for in YouTube, Walking into the FedEx office. Got to print a couple things off. Get teed up for a day full of calls. So anyway, I'll kind of show you guys as I'm working through this, what I have going on. Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. A little bit of work to do back here. So, the game plan today. You know, might seem a little old school to use pad and paper, but that is how I stay on track. So, yeah, start knocking this out. All right, so got some things printed off, got some work done. Here's my notes for the day. Can't show you exactly what those are, but yeah, that's my agenda. Put my goals for the day, or overall goals, and then objectives for the day for all the different things that I'm working on. So anyway, that's what it looks like. Printed off some cold call sheets, things I write a handwritten note on when I stop a cold call. Yeah, time to hit the road. Our boys and girls finished up at FedEx office. Walking to my car now. Time to pound the pavement. You know, this is, I think, maybe an underappreciated aspect of medical sales. Especially, I mean, it depends a little bit on the position that you have and the company that you're working with and how established that company is, how established the business is. But certainly for me and the majority of sales reps out there, unless you're the market leader, you're pounding the pavement. You're putting in work, you're putting in miles, doing a lot of cold calling, a lot of follow-up calls, a lot of work to get in front of the customers and present your product. You know, it's great and all when you've got the market leading product, you've got a brand, it's going to help you get to the top. But a lot of people struggle to get jobs with those companies. Like, there are a fixed number of jobs at any one given time for those companies. So a lot of people are taking jobs with companies that are startups, companies that are not top tier, companies that are, you know, mid-tier companies, medium-sized companies where, you know, the product may or may not be the best product in the market, or you may or may not have the best brand on the market. So effort, a lot of effort. Anyway, let's rock and roll. All right, first cold call. Here we go. It's not necessarily acceptable or socially acceptable at this point for me to be videoing myself making a cold call, but I've got my cold call document here. About to walk in the office, make the first call. All right, didn't get a meeting on the books. They are a facility that essentially had to fill out a small, kind of like half sheet of paper with my information, which doctor I wanted to meet with, the person for the meeting, and then what I was going to be doing, like buying a lunch or bringing a coffee for them. So this is a facility where they're not going to give you a chance to get in right away. Essentially, you know, I left my cold call document, which is a handwritten note, some brochures, and then I requested a meeting with this doctor, but using their system, which consists of, you know, what I had just mentioned. That gets passed on to their assistant, and their assistant is then going to contact me back if they want to have a meeting. Now, as expected, we can't count on that for long-term success, you know, because chances are they're just not going to call me back. You know, maybe 1 out of 10 they're going to call me back. So my objective now is to find that doctor online somewhere and figure out how to connect with him personally instead of relying on his assistant and the front desk staff to make this happen. So that's the objective, but hopefully that gives you kind of a glimpse inside what some of these cold calls look like. And yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's go to the next one. The other thing I wanted to share as I'm pulling out of this account, this is a orthopedic group that has 7 or 8 doctors on staff, and I have stopped into this facility before. So there's another doctor that I did this for, I don't know, a couple of weeks back, and tried to set up a meeting in a similar way. And I got a call back from them after following up with them a bunch. I got a call back finally from one of their assistants saying that this doctor was not interested in doing a meeting at this time for my product. And you know, that's the way it goes. I tried to find this guy online, cold email him, connect with him on LinkedIn, etc. Call back and talk with his staff. It's just not going to happen at this time, and that's fine. Do I want it to happen? Sure. Am I going to work hard to try to make it happen and get in front of him and get him to give me a chance with my product? Absolutely. But I think, it's just, the reality is that there are going to be plenty of times where no matter how good you are, how good your product is, you're going to have some guys that just don't want to meet with you at that time. The timing's not right. I didn't catch him at the right time. Maybe he's actually just not interested, but probably not, because our products are legit. But now I'm going back in for one of the other doctors, and it's just, you can't allow the spikes and troughs in excitement and getting frustrated to be too high and too low, because you're going to have times where you're like, what the hell, I've got the best product in the market. Why doesn't this guy want to see me? Why won't this guy meet with me, etc.? And whatever. Like, I have not lost any sleep over that at all. Just freaking move the hell on to the next guy. Who knows? And they may call me this afternoon and say, oh yeah, this guy wants to meet with you, because it could be that last week he had a case where my product would have solved a problem for him, and so he's like, yeah, absolutely, I want to meet with you. And maybe this other doctor that said no, he just hasn't had run across those issues. You have no idea what the timing, the chance, the opportunities are that are going to come your way. You just got to be present, got to keep working. Don't allow the no's to take you away from trying to get the yeses. That's the thing where, and I've talked about this a little bit, but loving to win or hating to lose. It's like, do I hate losing? Like that doctor that hasn't given me the time of day yet. Do I hate losing? Yeah, but I love winning. Like that doesn't. If I get this next guy, like whatever, I'll get him later. Like I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm just going to move the hell on to the next guy. There's plenty of doctors for me to call on. If I get the product in the hands of enough doctors, they're going to say yes to me, and I'm going to be fine. So that's how I think about that. Anyway, I wanted to share that just because that's a reality. And if people are making vlogs and putting content out, and they try to come off as experts in medical sales or try to be perceived as the experts, I just want to make sure that you're getting a real situation. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. It's not like I win every time. That happens way more than not, when that I don't get the call back, and that's just the reality of it. So if anybody's telling you like, oh yeah, do this, and then if you just do this, you're gonna get that business, like that's just not how it works. That's not reality. You don't know what the thing is that's going to be the thing that gets you the business. You just got to try a lot. You got to work a lot. You got to put a lot of effort in, and eventually you're going to have things go your way. So, all right. Well, let's do this again. I just pulled in at the second facility to call on. So I'm going to knock out the exact same thing. So I'll touch base with you guys later. See ya. So just finished up the second cold call. Got a business card. Was not able to set a meeting. He is not in the office today, but did get his assistant's name. And so one of the things that's a minimum when you're cold calling is, now, majority of the time, you're not going to be able to get a meeting on the books the first time you're cold calling. So you got to figure out who do you need to follow up with to set that meeting. So for him, it's Tara. That's his nurse. So didn't get a meeting with him specifically, but I'm going to call back main line. If I don't hear today or tomorrow, probably Wednesday of this week, maybe tomorrow, kind of depending, I'll call and ask for Tara. Make sure, hey, did you get the stuff that I left you? Can we make this happen? So that's a minimum. You got to get that type of information whenever you're cold calling. Yeah, and a little side note tip: there's an app. It's called Camcard. You can just take a picture of a business card and it loads it up right into your phone, into your contacts. So if you're not using something like that, you got to use something like that, especially if you're out cold calling a bunch. So anyway, on to call 3. The other thing you can't forget when you're cold calling is you got to pack some food. A little yogurt. Grab a lunch with me here. First of all, it's hard to eat well when you're out and about. Second, you got to have stuff to be able to snack on, keep you going. If I'm not eating routinely, I'm getting hungry, then I get ornery, then I don't do as well. So got to keep your foot on the gas, and to do that, you got to fuel up, So, take your lunch with you. I mean, there are times, obviously, where I don't take my lunch, but every day I've got snacks with me to keep me going when I need it. All right, so this is a cold call. Well, this is not a cold call. This is a practice where I have stopped in and left some information for the doctor in the past, one of the doctors, and his assistant said that he would be interested in seeing this product. He'd want to do a meeting with it. So she told me to follow up with the administrator of the practice, and that administrator would coordinate the meeting with the doctor. I have left 2 or 3 voicemails with her and email and didn't get anything back. So what I'm doing is leaving a handwritten note for her and hoping that that is going to be the thing that will get her attention and put it on her radar and actually get her to give me a meeting with this doctor. All right, vlog. Next stop here. Walking into another practice area. There's actually a number of physician offices in this building, so I'm going to be stopping at a couple of them. Really, it's the same thing over and over when you're cold calling. You want to keep things simple so you can go fast. You don't want to have a lot of, at least initially, variety in what you're doing. Make it the same call every time, and then make adjustments as you go. But you need volume. You need to do a lot of cold calling. All right, we got some cold calling done this morning. Had some phone calls in the car that you obviously didn't see, but now I'm headed into Starbucks. Get a little early afternoon cup of coffee. I've got some follow-up emails I got to get done and things like that. So I'm going to bang out some work here at Starbucks and then hit the road again for more calls. For me, I kind of break out my day in half. So kind of the first half of the day, I generally try to focus my time, or the majority of my time, doing cold calls and really filling up the pipeline in the morning. I just find that works better for me. It kind of gets me going, it gets my day going, gets me out and about, it gets the blood flowing, things are happening. Got to fill the pipeline, got to add people into the top of the funnel, and then I generally spend the afternoon in follow-up calls, follow-up phone calls. Obviously, that's not a perfect split, because some days you've got cases, some days I've got cases, some days I've got meetings that are set up in the morning that are a discovery meeting or a presentation or something like that. So it's never a perfect split, but I generally try to do it that way, and that's how I think about it. It gets me up and out the door, and then when you're out the door in the morning, gives you a chance to really bang out a lot of calls, be really productive and get the day going, and then in the afternoon follow up on some of the other calls that you've made. So a lot of follow-up emails, a lot of follow-up phone calls, a little bit of time trying to track people down online, LinkedIn, for example. So that's kind of how I break out my day, just so you guys have an idea if you're thinking about it, or if you're in medical sales. It's easy to get lost in the minutia. You've got to set aside time for all of the different parts of running the business and growing the business. So that's how I try to do it. Again, it's never a perfect split. It's never like, I will not make this follow-up call this morning, I'm just doing a cold. It's not like that. But it does. It helps keep me honest and really make sure that I get to everything that I need to, or at least as much of it as I can every day of what I need to get to. So anyway, yeah, kind of felt like I should share that with you guys. It's actually early afternoon now, and I'm making more cold calls, but that's just because I have more on my agenda, and then I'll get back to some of the follow-ups that I haven't yet finished yet. So yeah, we'll see you later. So my in-laws are moving, and supposed to be helping them take apart a treadmill tonight. And so I dropped off my daughter with my mother-in-law at their new house, and now I'm at their old place trying to find the tools. And there is potentially nothing more frustrating in the world than not having the tools you need for the job. Has anybody got some Allen wrenches I can borrow? Alright, since nobody wanted to give me some Allen wrenches, now I get to drive back across town and get them myself. And now we're back at my place. You know, should have just brought my tools with me from the very beginning instead of assuming that they would have what we needed. Okay. WTF are my tools.